Let's ride.
I am here. I am here with Chansler from Whatnot, head of the comic division. We're going to talk some Whatnot tonight. We're going to talk comics. I know folks out there, you're seeing Whatnot all over the place now, and you're wondering what it is. You're wondering why you're not on already. And if you are on already, you're wondering why it is the way it is and who's behind it all, what's going on. So, Chansler, my friend, how are you?
I'm good, Ben. Glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad to have you. For those not familiar with Whatnot, do you want to give us a quick rundown of the scene?
Yeah, for sure. So for those not familiar, imagine Twitch and live streaming kind of meet commerce and eBay, right? So we have sellers on the platform who go live from their phone, almost in a QVC style fashion, and buyers can join their stream. It's very interactive, very social. They can run live auctions. They can also have buy it nows. So it's primarily a live streaming platform for sales. There is a marketplace that's currently being built out with a lot more functionality to lay on top of the live stream aspect of things. But for the most part, we're very focused on the live stream aspect of things.
And I will say, as someone who's used both ends as a seller and a buyer, and this isn't to brown nose, I really do enjoy it. I was skeptical at first, and I know there's so many people out there that are on the fence about it, but the functionality in the community aspect, the vibe of me being able to talk to somebody live and they can see the book, that's huge.
Yeah, I mean, I think live streaming is going to be around, and it's obviously already been huge with the rise of Twitch over the last couple of years, and I think we're just going to see a lot more applications of it. And I think e-commerce and live sales is just one of those. And I think a great place to start is within collectibles, because to your point, people within collectibles and comic books super passionate. They know what they're doing. There's a lot of people who already sell. So it kind of, when you see marketplaces pop up and they focus on collectibles first and foremost, there's a reason for that, and it kind of makes sense, and it comes back to the community.
And you guys, speaking of community, you guys have been doing a lot of events. You had that Star Wars weekend. There were a bunch of Whatnot giveaways, and I'm sure that's not the end of them, but you guys are really showing the buyers the love. And I mean, what else can you say, right? You guys have been funded again, if we can talk about that.
Yeah, for sure. So we closed our Series C and announced that. So we've raised over $220 million since December, which is amazing, because with that, we'll be able to not only continue to hire a team so that we can, continue to build the product and, continue to provide better tools for buyers and sellers to be able to come together. But we'll also be able to, have a presence at Comic-Cons and, like you mentioned, put on events and do things to give back to the community and try to continue to provide value in a way that maybe other platforms or other marketplaces aren't really set up to. So I think there's a lot we can do with that, which is very exciting. But I think we're just starting to get just started on the events side of things.
And on that live aspect of bringing stuff that others can't to the table, we've all done the Facebook thing. We've all done the Instagram. We all do eBay. eBay is what it is. We all love and hate it at the same time. Right. Something I've noticed with going live on Whatnot is the ability to actually show. As a buyer on eBay, it drives me nuts when they give a grade. They just give a grade, you see the book kind of. On Whatnot, I'm listening to the person, and they're giving me a close-up on their phone or their device, and we're seeing the condition. I know that's not even a question. That's just something for the folks that are wondering.
Yeah.
It's another really, really nice function of the Whatnot app, which they can find on whatnot.com.
Yeah, I mean, it comes back to like the live streaming aspect of things, right? Like no one ever would have thought that, well, some people might have thought, but the majority of people would have thought that you would have watched someone play video games, right? Which was kind of like the start of Twitch. But being able to watch them and then see their reactions, I think there's just so much that goes into live video and live streaming that you just lose in a, kind of in a stale website, right? Or like a stale marketplace where there's just not a lot of interaction and you're not able to really communicate with people there. So yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of benefits.
And then as far as events, you guys are going to be at New York, is that correct?
New York Comic Con next week.
It's next week. What are you?
Be there, be square.
Well, you're gonna square. You got a ring, don't you?
We do have a ring in the form of a square. Yeah, right on. So it's Whatnot Mania. We're gonna have a huge pavilion right in the middle of New York Comic Con. So we're super excited about that. So obviously gonna have a pretty big presence with some comic books there and some different things that we have up our sleeve that we're excited to do, but also gonna have some representation there from some of our other categories as well. So a lot of team members from Whatnot will be headed out. So super excited to really bring the team to New York and get to know some people out there and meet everyone there.
You're just recently getting into comic books.
Personally,
yes. And Whatnot, right? Whatnot on comics is kind of new. And for those not familiar, you guys have Jack, aka Mr. Bolo, helping out with the comic thing. Everyone knows him from the scene.
Yeah, he's been super helpful for me personally. Again, just not having a background. So when I joined Whatnot, coming up upon about 6 months now, which feels like 6 years with how much changes daily here and how fast everything's moving. But whenever I was put on to start exploring comic books and seeing if it was going to be a category that would work on Whatnot, that we could provide value to the community. One of the first things I did was just try to reach out and connect with people in the space, just to really just better understand where's the community at, how are people buying and selling now, what are, if there are any issues with that or pain points, how can we provide a better experience, or can't we, right? And so Jack was pretty instrumental with really just helping guide me personally, and then like helping advise like the rest of the company, just so that we could like go about it the right way, and just at the same time make sure we could uphold the integrity of the community, because again, the last thing we wanted to do was try everything, right? Do a ton of events and just do all of this stuff that would potentially fall flat, and at the same time potentially ostracize the community, which wouldn't be good either. So I, working with Jack and then being able to, meet other people like yourself and other people in the community has definitely been instrumental in really just making sure we can do it the right way.
And it shows, for what it's worth. The variety of folks you work with is, I think, the beauty of the app right now as far as comics is concerned. I don't touch sports cards, but I see how big those shows are. Good for them.
Crazy. Yeah.
Comics, from a comic buyer and seller perspective, selling's good. Selling's fun, whatever. Buying feels so much better, and it goes back to that community aspect. And I'm not trying to beat a dead horse here, but it's there's a big group on Instagram. Even you have the hashtag Whatnot Comic Book Community, and everyone's just getting together and having fun. And I'm not going to lie, some of the deals I found, I wouldn't want to be the seller of it at that time, but
sure,
there's highs and lows to everything, but it's impressive what's been created in such a short amount of time.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. And thank you for the kind words. I mean, again, I'll just kind of come back to, I think, making sure that I acknowledge on my side of because, I love the opportunity to be able to partner with sellers and at the same time be learning this whole space, because there's so many nuances. It's so interesting. But at the same time, on the flip side, on the other end of the spectrum, at Whatnot, right, we have our engineering team. And they built the product and are actively still working on it, and and working through things, and constantly working to make it better. And that's where it's very easy. It's easier, right, for me on my end to be able to work with communities, specifically the comic book community, and tell you guys about the opportunity to try this new tool, and the potential and the opportunity there that comes with that. But it has to be built and it has to work, right? And so it's definitely been it's been great, like being able to see like the engineering and product team like really put something together that was intentionally built for communities that buy and sell in collectibles like comic books, where it's again Instagram, Facebook, these other tools. I've said this before, they're not outdated. They have world-class teams working on these tools. They're just not built specifically for these communities, at least not entirely. And that's where, again, just having these conversations and really just trying to, empathize and just really understand any issues that are in the space, that's super important. And that way I can always, relay that back to our engineering and product team, as they prioritize certain tools.
And one of the major differences in what you've just brought up is, as a seller, unlike eBay, Facebook, unlike everything ever, as long as I protect, ship the book correctly, do it on time, send it safely, I don't have to deal with the buyer. The buyer's upset, UPS breaks it in half, Whatnot's covering me.
Yeah, I mean, our goal was on both sides of the equation to make it as frictionless as possible and provide, again, a level of integrity that earns the trust of both sides of the community, right? So as a seller, you're not worried about chargebacks. We're working with you on a case-by-case basis if there is an issue. And then as a buyer, that we're doing the best we can to, vet sellers. If there's an issue and someone gets onboarded and they were doing something that had ill intent, we'll address it and we can take them off the platform if need be. We're not going to be perfect there 100% of the time, but I think it's being able to, and this comes from the leadership top down too. I mean, being able to actively, really make sure that we're doing what we can to maintain that integrity. It just builds the trust on both sides, and it's a hard task, but it's important, and we spend a lot of time there.
You can tell. Again, it shows. For anyone who's not, go over to the App Store, grab the Whatnot app, download it, find Whatnot on Instagram at whatnotcomics. Obviously, you will see an article under this video, all the links you need. Before we close out, and I say thank you for spending time with us, because so many folks, I'm telling you, are out there going, what is Whatnot? I keep seeing it. I'm on the fence. I don't know. I feel like getting to see you on camera and listen to you talk about it and explain to folks what they're missing adds validity to the unknown for them, because that's what it was for me in the beginning. Was until I downloaded it, talked to you, and saw other sellers, I just didn't know. So
yeah, well, I think that's understandable too, just to that point, because it's so new, right? There's not too many consumer startups that have made it to the scale that Whatnot has been able to scale to when it comes to live streaming and commerce and kind of merging the two. And so, I think we obviously have like a lot of the big tools out there and the big platforms I had already mentioned, right? There's other marketplaces and other tools that have popped up, but it's just different. And I even remember the first time I had come across it, it's like, oh, it's like live streaming. I'm going to buy things and it's going to be completely automated, in that. It just sounds a little odd, right? Because we're just not as comfortable with that yet. It's not as familiar. But what's exciting is I think, we're definitely headed there. And human behavior is oddly consistent across the world. And if you look at other countries, there are some countries that have widely adopted widely adopted live stream shopping as a form of commerce. Countries like over in Asia, China, I know for like they'll buy their fruit from like farmers, and even down to their toiletries and literally everything else from live shows. And so I think it's definitely going to be a big part of the future of commerce. And so I resonate though, and feel the skepticism with just not knowing what this thing is and entirely how it works at the start.
But I'm telling you, once folks get out there, and folks, once you get out there and check this out, life-changing, and all that time spent on eBay going through nonsense and dealing with people, you get to know the person. You know the sellers. You're talking to them. You're listening to them. You're seeing the book. It doesn't get any more real than that. And I guess that's what it adds in the end, is a level of realism that the market was desperately in need of.
Sure.
And I'll get the brown off my nose, but it's only from experience, folks. I'm only speaking from experience. And I admit in the beginning I was skeptical, but I really do enjoy from both ends. I really like, I'm the worst. I'll sit and watch football and literally stare down at the whatnot, go to a different show, throw bids in, mute it. I'm like,
yeah, I do this. I do the same. My wife will have to tell me to put the phone down. Which, give me 10 p.m. at night, and there's a whatnot stream on.
So I'm going to remind everyone at whatnotcomics, whatnot.com. Get the app, download it. If you have any questions, I'm on Instagram. Rennavision. Leave a comment here. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you have any questions. And Chansler from Whatnot, I appreciate you taking time tonight, my friend.
Right on, Ben. Appreciate it. We'll do it again, and I'm sure there'll be reason to do it again as we continue to roll out new tools and features and just continue to make progress. So we'll be glad to stay in touch.
We'll be looking forward to it, my friend. Until next time, I appreciate you, and everyone in the audience there. Thanks for stopping by.
All right, right on.